Hello and welcome to the 46th episode of the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit video podcast. My name is Kimberly, also known as Sock Bunny, and today is Thursday, July 19th, 2012. And yes, you just saw my dog sniff my breath. He loves to smell people's breath. Whenever he meets somebody or somebody comes to the house or whatever, he always wants to smell their breath. Right, Bandit? So this is Bandit, my boy greyhound, the tall one, and the short one here is Janie. Say hi, Janie. Hi. Hey, peoples. This is a special episode of the podcast because we are talking about the Tour de Fleece, which is running along with the Tour de France. And so I want to show you the spinning that I did yesterday, if the dogs will let me stop petting them. Can I stop petting you for a second? No? So the first thing I did is I finished plying the first ounce of the navy colonial wool. It's a hat, Bandit. It's a hat. So I finished plying that. I was about about halfway done with that, maybe a little bit more than halfway. And then I wanted a challenge because yesterday was the first day in the Pyrenees Mountains for the racers. And so I decided to spin a bat because I haven't really done that before. So I have a bat from Unwind Yarn Company, and I got it on Etsy. So this is her card. Whoops. Unwind Yarn Company, Crafty Girl 83. And the bat, this is half of it. And you can see that there are some copper sparkles. And it sort of reminds me of maybe an oxidized penny or oxidized copper. That's what it reminds me of. And in this, it has Merino, BFL, Swirl BFL, Corriedale Cross, Shetland, and Angelina. I am going to assume that this yellow part on the inside is Shetland because it is really, really, really scratchy. So what I did is, this is half of it. And it was rolled up like this. So I unrolled it and tore it in half, and then I just ripped big pieces out of it, and I spun it, again, without pre-drafting, so I'm very proud of myself for that. It's a Santa Claus beard. Hello. Have you been a good girl? No. So this is what the first half looks like spun. And there's a lot of yellow in it. I was surprised how much yellow is in it. But you can't see it here. Hi again. Hello. There is a lot of copper in here, but just not on the top layer that you are seeing. So tonight, their second night in the mountains, the racers, I will be spinning the second half and possibly doing some other things, but maybe not. We'll just have to see. I did actually knit a little bit today, and I haven't been doing very much knitting, and I miss knitting. I like spinning a lot, but I love knitting. So if I had to pick one or the other, I would definitely pick knitting. So that is my spinning for yesterday. Let's talk about our Tour de France fun facts, and today we're going to talk about Lanterne Rouge. The Lanterne Rouge means red lantern in French. It's the competitor in the last place in a cycling race, such as the Tour de France. And this is from Wikipedia, by the way. The phrase comes from the French red lantern and refers to the red lantern hung on the caboose of a railway train, which conductors would look for in order to make sure none of the couplings had become disconnected. In the Tour de France, the rider who finishes last, rather than dropping out along the way, is accorded a distinction. Riders used to compete to come last rather than just near the back. Often, the rider who comes last is remembered, while those a few places ahead of last are forgotten. The revenue the last rider would generate from later appearance fees could be greater than had he finished second to last. So, back in the late 70s, early 80s, there were these two riders. I can't remember their names. I read about this, but there were these two riders that were being basically ridiculous about trying to be the last one to finish. They were riding really slowly in the time trials and basically just being a nuisance about it and getting a lot of publicity. So the tour organization did not like the attention that the Lanterne Rouge received, and for the 1980 Tour de France devised a rule to make it more difficult to finish last. Between the 14th and 20th stage, the rider last in the general classification was removed from the race. The rule was dropped for subsequent years. So a couple of bad apples can ruin the whole bunch, right? So that is your Tour de France fun fact about the Lanterne Rouge. I hope you are enjoying these little episodes, and I hope you keep on spinning. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.